about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just discount? I don't know.
I don't know.
Great Sounds Watts with Outside on WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, with my partner in crime, Long Island raised, Elm City made, Mr. EZ BlueZ. EZ BlueZ, you are always better with introductions more than me. Who do we have with us on the show today?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is an artist's perspective, an artist's point of view, and an artist's eye that really shows and highlights exactly the beauty that it comes from within. For that and that alone, I want you to put your hands together. Not if you're driving. If you're driving, keep your hands at 10 and 2 because we don't need any accidents. But mentally, I want you to put your hands together for the fantastic, the amazing, the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Kim Weston is in the building today. Welcome, Benvenue.
Thank you. Hi, how are you this morning?
We're doing good. We're doing great. We're happy to be alive. It's always good to wake up. But I want to know, the first question is, do you remember the first photo you ever took that made you feel like an artist, Kim?
Yes, I was 12 years old. My mom had taken me to go out on a photo shoot, part of a class assignment. And that I can remember was 34th Street, Times Square. There was a shoe shine place, and these two men were sitting, getting their shoes shined, and two guys at their feet. And I turned around and I took that photo.
Oh.
And it was just a moment. And I knew after I developed that image in the darkroom that I wanted to be a photographer because it was a cool shot. Yeah, that was my first.
Oh, happy I got you smiling right there. Now, how did your time at Cooper Union and later Bard College / ICP shape your creative voice?
So Cooper Union was undergrad. When I got accepted, it was it was one of the only free colleges in the United States at the time.
Right.
And it's a very prestigious school. So getting in was like a big deal. I always knew I wanted to be an artist because at a very young age, I was drawing on everything. And my mom was like, she couldn't keep any paper, bills, nothing on the table without there being some kind of artwork on it. So Cooper Union made me realize that I could actually be an artist. And that was, I went there and I started in 88. That experience with the artists that I met there and the community that I met there was the opening point for just knowing I wanted to be a photographer. We couldn't major in photography at Cooper Union, but we could try different things. And so I took all the photography classes and I met some of the most wonderful artists there, Lorna Simpson, Daoud Bey. They all came in as visiting artists. And so I knew then that it was it was an experience I was going to have. And then I went into the music industry as a photographer. And I did that for quite a few years. And then later in life, in my 40s, I went back to school to get my master's at Bard ICP. And then I realized, I had a life-death experience that made me end up saying, I need to really do this professionally and not play around and be an artist and not just be a photographer that does, music stuff or does professional commercial work. I wanted to have a statement with my work. And so that experience at ICP gave me the opportunity to express myself through my culture, through my indigenous culture, through my African culture. And I knew then that discovery of the work that I create about life and death and the fact that our ancestors still walk with us, that I could capture them on camera. And Maurice Berger, a New York Times writer, he passed away during COVID, shaped the way I see photography and gave me the inspiration as a Jewish young man that lived in the projects in New York City. he shaped the way I saw myself and gave me the confidence to go forward and to keep doing what I do and create beautiful images and not make myself something that the industry might want, but to say what I needed to say. And so he did that. Um, and that's how it shaped my career. And ICP also, Nayland Blake, the chair there, said that the school was different, the program was different because it allowed you to open doors, where
Right.
some institutions open the doors for you. We won't mention them, right? But they open the doors for you. And Nayland said, we're going to teach you how to open up your own doors and build your own dreams. And if a gallery won't take you, then build one. And that's what I'm doing here in New Haven. It's taken me 4 years. I'm still working on it, but I'm building my own gallery from that experience. So I know it's a long-winded answer, but that's it.
Nah,
Nothing
that was the
wrong with
money answer. That was
long-winded.
the money one.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with long-winded answers when they're that good.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
Nah,
Yeah,
that's why Easy and I enjoy doing this. We enjoy learning about other people because everyone has a story. Everyone goes through adversity, and and most people come back stronger from that adversity and become better human
right,
beings that themselves. But
right.
speaking of becoming a better person, you said Jamaica Art Center saved your life. Can you share what that space meant to you?
So art centers usually art is so valuable to us, right?
Hmm.
So even back when I was going to school as a young kid, you still only got 30 minutes, 45 minutes of art class if
Right.
you were able to do that. And so Jamaica Art Center was this place where culturally I could go as a young Black Indigenous kid and see people that look like me on the walls,
Mm.
right? And through photography or through painting, Elizabeth Catlett was one of those people that was just like, she was badass back then, and to be able to see those images of Black people and images of people of color was just so profound to me because when I went, my mother would take me to museums. And when I went to the Met, I didn't see that.
Right.
I just saw these beautiful, voluptuous paintings of these angels and European bodies and,
Mhm.
learned all about the Renaissance and all those wonderful things. Great work, but they weren't images that look like me.
Right.
And so Jamaica Art Center provided that, and they provided a community that really loved their kids. And that's where I met photographer Larry Brown. He took me under his wing at 13. I started working for
Wow.
him and this beautiful man, Eugene Adams, and they raised me. They
Right.
carried me all the way until I got married and taught me everything I knew about photography, about the business of photography. They gave me my first job. I worked for Mayor Dinkins as a photographer in New York City doing shots, and so centers like that with great artists that come through inspired me to be an artist. Lorna Simpson and Carrie Mae Weems is why I do what I do in Daou Bay. Those names, if you ever read anything about me or see anything about me, those three names are right there because they influence the way that I see. And that experience was just phenomenal. And I'd like to recreate that here in New Haven, right? Because the kids are not getting it in school. They're not getting just art. They're not getting an artist that believes in them and wants to see them go to the next level or open their eyes to be more than what they were born into. Right. And I want to give them that hope and give them that inspiration, put my arms around them and squeeze them and say, baby, you got this, like you got this. And if you want to be a photographer, you could be a photographer. If you want to do commercial work, you can do that. But if you just want to use it as a form to express yourself without words, this is a great medium to do it. And, and we need more programs like that. And we need more people to stand up and to reach to our kids and say, look, you know what? Somebody that gave me an opportunity, I'm going to give you one. I'm going to reach back and I'm going to, do the same for you because we can't just count on the public school system to do the things that we need. We can't look at some of the institutions that are here that want to charge prices that are not impossible, but they are for some families, right? And so to be able to make those programs possible, the Pincus Foundation has given me a wonderful grant to do what I do. And the City of New Haven Arts and Culture, they have also given me grants, and I've gotten donations from people to make this program that I do with the Focus Fellowship teen photography program thrive. So I'm grateful to all of those people. But we have to figure those things out as artists and as professionals. How do we give back to our children? Because they really are our future, right? And when we see that they're not getting these forms to express themselves, we have to provide it. I have 6 children, and I give my children as much as I possibly can.
6?
But there are other children. I'm sorry, that's little Bay. That's little Bay right there.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Barking at my brother.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right. When did you first realize photography could be more than just an art form, but a tool for healing and community?
I think as an artist, something that we don't really talk about is mental illness, right?
Mm.
And artists deal with it all the time. And that's a lot of reason why we have musicians and DJs and visual artists and performing artists, because they're looking for a way to express themselves and do something different. So I've been battling with depression since I was in my early 20s.
Mm.
And I was out shooting one day and I realized, I was like, this is really emotionally helping me get through some of the stuff that I'm getting through. My art is allowing me to do that. And so I think one of my therapists said, "Why don't you shoot more and create more?" And that's what I started doing. And that's when I realized that it was connected to my emotional intelligence, that it was connected to who I am, and a way for me to get out what I couldn't get out with words, right? And that's when I knew. Like it just, you would think it might have happened when I was younger, but it didn't. It happened when I was older, and um, it just became an outlet. So if it wasn't the camera that I was reaching for, it was a paintbrush, right? Or it was me just jamming to some really great music. That's how I knew that the arts would help me. Yeah.
I'm really enjoying this conversation, but if we can just adjust the camera so we can see the
Oh, I'm
great
sorry.
background and your amazing personality, that will be awesome. Yes, perfect. I'm not a photographer, but I just want to get a good shot. I want to show you a lot of respect. But tell me more about photography, Kim, because I'm enjoying what I'm hearing right now. What role does personal storytelling play in your photography?
So for me, I about 11 years ago, I passed away during a brain surgery, and well, after brain surgery, I should say. And I knew then that I needed to do something different with my work. Um, it I was documenting my Native community and my family, and when I went to grad school, they deemed me the National Geographic photographer of the class, right? Because I had these beautiful images of Native people, right? And and but that was frowned upon. Really, it was a joke, but it was like, look, you're here to do more than just do documentary photography. Document where you are. Why do you do what you do? Why do you powwow? Why do you look at your culture? Who are you? You say you're Native and you're Black. But who are you? And my life death experience made me go out and really evaluate who I was. So I was standing in a powwow with my kids, and we were all dressed in regalia, And this guy comes up to me. I've got a Canon 7D with the long lens on it, this oversized lens, right? And this guy comes up to me, he stands next to me, he says, "Can I stand here?" And this area where I was for just for the dancers. So I'm standing, I'm looking at my infant in the carriage, and I look at him and I go, "Yeah, I guess so." And so I hold my camera up, he holds his camera up, and I said, "This guy is here for a totally different reason than I'm here."
Mhm.
He has nothing to do with culture. He has nothing to
Mhm.
do. He's just a spectator, but he's not here for the same reason.
Right.
And it was in that moment that I realized that I needed to do something to express why I dance, why I do this every weekend, right? And I started playing with my aperture, my shutter speed, and just messing with all the dials, right? What am I going to get? And so I started realizing that when I slowed down the shutter and I opened it up for longer periods of time, more information would come in and I would get blur. And so I had to adjust it just right. And I love shooting at nighttime. And so with the available light, I started getting these forms and color. And then sometimes you would see people, and sometimes you would see animals, and then sometimes you would see like a person with an animal. And so my images are these beautiful people, beautiful indigenous people dancing and expressing themselves. But also you see these other entities in it. And I call them our ancestors. I call it spirit photography. And I dance because I connect with my community. I connect with the creator. I connect with the earth. And those things are so valuable. And I think I found a way to express it with the work that I do. And photography has allowed me to do that. And so these images are big. They're 4 feet by 6 feet. They used to scare me at first. But I realized that Creator put me in this position to be a vessel and to remind people that we've forgotten that we're not here alone, right? That our ancestors, the people that we love, they're just a veil away. We can smell them still sometimes. We get reminders of, pictures that might pop up on our phone or somebody that walks by and you go, "Oh my God, they look like," or the conversations that come up that remind you of those loved ones. My images show you that. And so photography is just, that was something that I did that said, this is a statement. I get to say something with this work. It gets to be bigger than just taking a picture of a flower, right? Which is okay because sometimes we need to look at flowers, right? Stop and smell the flowers and look at beautiful flowers. But these images were clearly about Creator giving me the opportunity to say, you know what? We're not alone. We didn't come into this world alone. We don't die alone. And question all of those things that have been said to us. And so the work that I do is just that reminder that, there's more to the world that we walk in. Um, our ancestors, creator, the earth is valuable and we need it. And to express it through photography is it's been a gift for me to be able to share with people.
It's been good for me to hear everything on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Raised, Elm City made, Mr. EZ BlueZ. You taught people of all ages and abilities. How do you adapt your teaching to meet students where they are? And as a two-parter, how has teaching changed you as an artist?
So meeting people where they're at is, I start with telling people that we are all photographers. We see every day. We have the gift of being able to see. We see images every day. And photography just allows you to take a moment to stop, frame something, and make an image of that particular moment. And so everyone can do that, right? And so I then show people how to make a really good composition. I remind them we look at TV all day long, right? We're looking at images all day long. and let's try and frame them. Let's try and frame our story. Frame, what does our home look like? I start there. What do the people that we love look like? Let's frame them. Let's take a really good image of them. And so I'm able to meet little kids that way, right? I'm able to meet the elders that have been looking at photos of family forever and ever, black and white. Um, and I'm able to meet everybody in between, right? And give them the ability to do it. So I encourage them and I poke fun at them when they bring me pictures of from the car of the sunset that they love. And then there's the steering wheel in the photo, and then there's the dashboard and the person walking across the street and all the lights and the sunrise or sunset is like this little teeny little dot in the background. I go, no, you didn't capture it. That's not it. Right. And so I have fun and I poke fun, and then I show them what they're really trying to capture, right? What they're working on to capture. Um, and that has been the ability to have grace in teaching, right? To be able to share those things. And I consider myself to be a little funny, so I'm always making jokes and connecting with people on just a really humanic level, right? And with young people, it's easy to get them to laugh when you bring up silly things. So I do that. And so teaching has afforded me this, I don't know, I guess it's taught me that no matter where you are in life, you have something to share. And when you share, you don't know how it's going to affect other people, right? Their experience, their journey. And so I share my story. I share my story of my mom at a young age, because she was in an abusive relationship with my father. She shot him 5 times and then nursed him back to health. And then she left Philadelphia. And I lived in the South Bronx when the South Bronx was just um, burnt out and walking over rubble. And I fell, and I still have a scar on my knee from all the junk that was there. I share the story of my mother working really hard, being a child of sharecroppers and not having shoes to go to school with, and then working really hard to graduate. And my grandmother and my grandfather graduated 12 kids from high school and wanted them to farm, but some of them were like, I'm out of here. And so they came up, to Philadelphia and New York and worked. I share the story of watching my mom leave low income housing to getting her own apartment to moving to from the good times to Co-op City, which was, I guess, would be the Jeffersons, to buying her first home in Queens, that would be the Cosbys, and then buying her next home. Um, Also in Queens and Aliyah Park, that would be the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? I watched my mother make this trajectory from a place that she was not supposed to make. And so I share that story because I'm a product of that. And I took all of that hard work that she laid down for me, and I'm continuing that, and I'm sharing that story. And so teaching gives me the platform to tell those stories of triumph, right? And be able to be successful. My story continues as Kim Weston, being an artist and being a person that can share and give back and still build like my mother did.
Right.
So teaching gives me that platform, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nah, I didn't want to interrupt. Everything was getting really good. Didn't want to interrupt.
I'm sorry, I stopped.
No, it's great.
Nah, like, I know we're
I
playing
go
double.
on, man.
I
I
know we're
could go
playing
on.
double Dutch. It's just I don't. If you were about to drop another gem, I didn't want to be that one to interrupt. I just wanted to show you respect. If I butcher the name, forgive me. Please forgive me.
Wabi.
Wabi. Okay,
Wabi.
Wabi. Tell us
Wabi
about
means
Wabi.
C.
Wabi means C.
Mhm.
Okay. What inspired that name, and how will Wabi be different from other galleries in New Haven?
So Wabi is a name that comes from the Algonquin language. It's the language that the people of this area, Native people, spoke of this area. So the Quinnipiac people spoke Algonquin. And I wanted to pay homage to that tribe and the people that were here in this area. I'm Cherokee, and I didn't want to come up and be like, yeah, well, as a Cherokee woman, I'm gonna name it after being Cherokee. I wanted to honor the place, the space where I'm at. And so Wabi means see. I see you. We see art, we see culture, we see each other, right? We see and we see things that are not right in our lives, right? And if you are a person that has the ability to make change, you want to see it change. So see is powerful. And so Wabi is going to be Wabi has been, I should say, because I've been exhibiting exhibiting in various locations. But as I continue to build the actual space, it's going to be a safe space for people of color to come in, for artists of any color, race, background to be able to come in and share their story and have a safe space to be where people are not shushing you and telling you to be quiet. There'll be music playing. There would be just a place that you can just be yourself and enjoy what you see on the walls, right? That's what Wabi is. It's a place where artists can gather, see themselves, share with each other, not be afraid to be who they are, say who they are, and a place that's safe, right? Yeah.
What? Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, wait.
Nah, you're on a roll.
So
You're on a
Wabi
roll.
Wabi also has an arm where I educate people, right? And I teach them about the things that are on the wall. So photography. So photography is my background. So I started with teaching photography. So I hope to expand that to other art forms as Wabi grows. So yeah.
That already answered my other question, so we're good. Why was it important to include a mentorship component like the Focus Fellowship in the gallery's mission?
We have to give back. I have no choice. I have no choice in my life. What you guys are doing right now, you're giving back to the community. It's a platform that's set up for you to say what you need to say. Bring people who have stories to share with other people. That's a way of giving back. I have to give back. It's my mission. It's my calling to teach, to not just be an artist and share my story visually, but also to teach that we all have that power. Art is incredible. It is such a form of expression that has been taken out of this culture, right? It's been suppressed on so many levels. That man that wants to be a king is cutting all the programs. Right? He's cutting all of the money that allows us to wake up every day and be who we want to be.
Right.
Art helps that. Art helps you to do your 9-to-5 corporate job by allowing you to think for yourself, right? And to make decisions whether I'm going to put this color or put that color, or I'm going to frame the picture this way or that way, right? Art allows you to do that. And so to take that away is just baffling to me. So I'm going to be one of those people. Maybe it's a Republican thing, right? Where Republicans said, you have to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and do what you got to do. Okay, well, in this moment, I'll be Republican because I'm pulling myself up by my bootstraps and I'm figuring out a way to share what I do with other people. That's the calling. We all have to do that, but in a democratic society that allows us to still work together. And do we have some social forms? Yes, because we need to help people that are not in positions to help themselves. Art allows us to do all of those things and be a part of all of that.
Let's break it down. How can the broader art world better support artists from an underrepresented background?
I think the first thing we need to do is show up. The second thing we need to do is we need to reach into our pockets and actually purchase a piece. We need to figure out how to support financially these artists, not just look at them. You know, in the music industry, we go to concerts. In the music industry, we purchase records. Those artists get a subsidiary from that. They get a little bit of money for each record that plays on the radio. Art needs to be the same way. It's not. But the first thing we need to do is show up to those openings, and then we need to purchase something. Not just say, oh, that's too much money, and give our money to Walmart and the artwork that they pump out from machines, right? But we need to support the artist by showing up and saying, look, I'm gonna figure out how to purchase this piece, figure out how to become collectors. That's what we can do, right? And so artists have work that's $5 all the way up to $5 billion, right? So I can't afford $5 billion. Sometimes I can't even afford $200, but there is a way to be able to start to figure out how to get into collecting artwork. That's the first thing. Whether it's a $20 print, we need to buy it from real people and not from the machine.
Yes.
Easy.
I'm
Do you
loving
feel like
every-
you're talking to yourself?
Oh, I feel like I'm having a full-on conversation with myself. I love every second of this. You're saying everything that I love to hear. It is absolutely incredible. And the other thing is, stop asking your friends for hookups. You don't want to hook up. Pay full price.
Right.
Get the hookup from Walmart and pay full price with your friends.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because you don't want anybody going to you at your 9 to 5 saying, hey, excuse me, I'm having a budget problem over here. Can I get a discount on what I pay you?
Exactly.
So pay this bill over here. That doesn't work. Right.
Doesn't work ever.
Right.
I've tried it. It never works.
Right. And get rid of that starving artist syndrome thing. Like, no.
Although ramen still tastes really good.
Yeah, but you got to hook it up with some vegetables.
I agree.
We were just talking about that a couple weeks ago. We were just talking about this very exact conversation. Oh, it's a small world. Today in 2025, where do you draw inspiration for your own photographic work?
I have to say, my Uncle Wayne has been a force to be a force. He's just a force. He's a beautiful Cherokee man that lives out in Sag Harbor, that does a lot of work with the Shinnecock people. And working with him and being out at Shinnecock has been just amazing. He inspires me to keep doing what I do and to keep getting my images in the right places and putting it in front of people. My better half has also inspired me to keep doing what I do. And the community that I've surrounded myself with gives me that inspiration to keep moving forward. But my native community and my family has been priceless. Without their support, I would not be where I am. Like I said, I've suffered with depression. I've had it under control for the last 10 years. And thank you. And being able to have them have my back when I've been sick. I also have sarcoidosis and Arnold-Chiari, 2 illnesses that bring up a whole bunch of other stuff. And some days I'm good, some days I'm not, but I'm always pushing forward. But I push forward because I have beautiful children. I have a beautiful partner. I have a beautiful Native community. I have a beautiful Black community. I have a beautiful white community. I have a beautiful Indian community. I have so many beautiful people around me. I'm one of those people that we are the world is around me. God created us all, and we can all learn from each other, and that inspires me. That inspires me. Seeing Easy and that beard right there brings you back to Brooklyn, back to the Bronx, of all the beautiful artists that I've seen and have had their hand in my life in some kind of way. People inspire me. My community inspires me. Yeah.
Are there themes or subjects you find yourself returning to again and again as an artist?
Saying something. Having something to say. For me, hey, young man, stop, young man. Having something to say, having a voice. I think right now, art has an ability to just be, and people can walk up and look at it and just see and love what they see, or they can be questioned by what they look at. And so I'm in a position right now as an artist, that I can go out and protest through my art, right?
Yes.
And that's what I'm looking at that right now. How do I voice that Black Indigenous people are out there in this world too, right? And we're often forced to choose sides. But when you're a mixed baby, that's almost impossible to do, right? And so the work that I'm moving into now is speaking up and being proud about being an Indigenous Black woman, right? And putting that face and putting what that looks like, what that feels like, what that smells like out into the world. It's valuable that we pull on our ancestry and say who we are. We may not look it. I may not look like your typical Indigenous woman from the Southwest, but I sure look like my people, right? And there's so many of us, and it's like a taboo almost to be Black and Indigenous in so many ways, right? You're not Black enough, you're not Indigenous enough, you're kind of like caught right in between. I want to stop that.
Right.
I want to bring voice to the fact that, I'm here. I'm a representation of that, right? Look at me. And this is what I look like today. Culture culture doesn't stop in the 1400s, right? Culture didn't stop in 102 AD, right? It's still here today. It changes. Culture changes, but the foundation of who I am, the things that I've learned as an Indigenous woman are still with me. I pass it on to my children. The things that I've learned, the power, the struggle of being African American, it's still with me today. Those African ancestors ride through me and scream, and we drum together with my Native ancestors, right? We are drumming still. The heartbeat of this earth is still here. And as an artist, that's what I have to do next in the work that I put out there. And I'm working on it already. So you can go to the Arts Council and you will see that work hanging up at the Arts Council, the beginning stages of what that will look like. Beautiful Black Indigenous people dancing, right, with some of the spirit photography. So on the second floor, they have a whole series of my work. And I call it a little blueprint into the next big body of work that I'm about to do.
That's awesome.
I want to try to extend this answer because I'm in a great mood right now. How do you approach projects where the personal and political overlap? And throughout your career, what were those projects?
So your personal experience influences what you do. And so early on, I had these two beautiful Black men that, pretty much raised me in photography. So during the 90s, I felt it was really important to hear what Black men had to say. So I did these portraits of Black men. I would have them take their shirts off and just do just their body, what their hair looked like. And I had them say something. Just tell me what's important to you. Just tell me, do you have anything you want to say? And I would take those words and have them write them on cardboard or have them write it directly on the wall. And that was one of my first powerful projects that I was allowed to give voice to these beautiful Black men that surrounded me all the time, right? And that was important because Black men were being put in prison for craziness. I mean, it hasn't stopped, right? I don't think it ever will stop in this country unless we have a big revolt. But that was one of the first ones. So my personal experience of being around beautiful Black men and loving and laughing and, having a good time, I wanted to show that on the wall. I wanted their voice to be heard in art spaces. So that was one of the very first ones that I did when I was at Cooper Union. And then through the years, I've been able to do small projects like that on things that have affected me. And so currently my Indigenous culture is where I feel the strength in my voice. I created with the community of New Haven and family and friends. There have been, in North America, there have been 15,000 missing Indigenous women and children. And so we created 15,000 prayer bundles. And prayer bundles are these 6-inch squares that have tobacco in them, and you tie them off with sinew. And so between here, New Haven, New York, and Boston, I gathered different communities together and we created 15 bundles. And they laid on the floor in a circle at the De Cordova Museum. That's one way that I get to bring my personal experience of what I see into the public eye by creating these beautiful installations. I do want to do the same thing for all the missing young Black girls. There's over 60,000 Black girls that are missing or have been murdered, and no one is talking about it, right? Very few small
But
circles.
we are talking about on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Keep on going, Kim.
Good. I'm happy about that because that is an epidemic. That is something that everyone should be talking about. The churches, the synagogues, everybody, every culture should be wrapping their arms around what the hell is going on, right? And let's figure out how to stop this. So I want to bring voice to that. That's the platform that you're providing gets me to speak about that. The platform as an artist allows me to express about that. That's a personal experience that I've had people in my family go missing. And so I want to say something about it. I've had people that I've known go missing. I want to say something about it as an artist. But I think it's bigger than me as an artist, right? We need to bring people together and create a force. If our government's not going to do it, then we, the people in the community, need to come together to do that, right?
Amen.
And so that needs to happen. That needs to happen right away. The sex trafficking game is serious, and those little Black girls are in it. And I know it like my name is Kim Weston. I know it.
What advice do you have to artists struggling to find their creative identity?
Tell your story. Figure out what your story is. Because none of us at this point are creating stories that haven't been told in some form or another through the ages. But find your unique story and tell that story. Figure out how to express it visually to people. If you're a musician, do it through music. But figure out what your individual story is, because you're going to tell it slightly different the way it's been told before. But Black men have been put on the wall with the story underneath of it, right? I did that in the 90s, and it's come out with Hank Willis Thomas. He's done that, right? So there's other people telling that same story, but tell it with your personal vision, your personal experience. And that is what makes you unique as an artist, is how does your voice show up through your art?
New Haven, Connecticut. What makes that a special place for artists in your eyes?
Well, it's between Boston and New York, right? So you don't have to live in all the craziness.
True.
Bumper to bumper people, right?
Correct.
And it's just this beautiful town that has so many wonderful artists in it. And the universities here bring people from all over the place. But the foundation of New Haveners, man, you better not mess with New Haveners. You better include them in everything you do, right? Because they want to be heard. This is their town, right? And so being here is special because the people love this place. The people who have been born and raised here, they love New Haven. I don't care what neighborhood you in. From the best neighborhoods to the low-income neighborhoods, it doesn't matter. People are born from different corners of New Haven, and they have something to say, and they are proud of New Haven. And so New Haven has that. They have that strong foundation. And if you can get past that, you can do anything. So, but the universities also bring in so many great people.
Right.
And the artwork that comes through, the culture that comes through is powerful. And it's a unique combination, right? To have the people who here that love this place, and then the people that come from other areas that get to share a little bit of who they are in this place. It makes the people here stronger, right? And it gets the people here the ability to tell their story. And I think that along with the various religious institutions that are here, um, the tribes that surround the area. It's just a beautiful little section to come and drop into. The restaurants that are here, the DJs that are here, right? There's some phenomenal DJs that are in coming out of New Haven, the artists that come out. It's just a really just it's a magical little place. And it's little but big. The heart of New Haven is humongous.
Huge.
Easy, I know you can talk about that,
Huge.
right?
No, the heart of New Haven is absolutely huge. And what I think is so amazing about your story, and I really, I'm this is going to be an episode that people are going to go back and watch 1.5 million times because there's so much knowledge that you drop. So thank you so much for all of that. But I really think the true nature of the story is to show yourself and to truly embrace it. And I would love to see you actually take the spirit photography to like the night market.
Oh, okay.
You know, so yes, you can see it as people are dancing, but the dancing buzz of the night market might bring you extra, might have different ancestors that come through and different stuff like that. So I would love to see that.
Oh, I would love that. I would love to try that. Thank you for that.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, thank you for that. I love that. That's a great collaboration. We should work on it together.
All right, I don't want to butcher the name again. Tell me the name for my next question.
Wabi?
Wabi. Where do you hope the community says about Wabi a year from now?
I hope the community says that Wabi is a great place to be. Wabi is a place that we can go, and we can share, we can laugh, we can listen to music, we can look at great artwork, and we can learn something, right? We get a place to express ourselves, a place that is not just an art gallery, but a place that allows us to commune together, right? That's what I want people to say. That's a great place, and you got to be there. You got to experience it. And you got to get your art on the walls at Wabi. That's what I want the community to say. And I want the community to be able to say, yeah, I got this piece at Wabi Gallery, right? I supported these artists at Wabi Gallery. I took a class at Wabi Gallery. That's what I want the community to be able to say. You got to go back and do another one. Kim Weston is a great teacher, and she provided this space. But did you meet all the other teachers? Did you meet all the other artists? That's what I want the community to say.
Last question, and then the rest of the time is yours to promote events, anything you got coming up, and shameless plugging for yourself.
Okay.
Tell me about the photo you had wish you'd taken, and then go ahead and promote.
The photo that I wish I had taken?
Yes.
Yes.
What is your great white whale?
You would have been like, man, that could have been a good.
That's serious.
Yeah, no, we ask serious questions here. We try.
A serious question. A photo that I wish that I had taken. I wish that I had taken more photos of not just one, but more photos of my grandparents. More photos of my mom and my dad. Those are the photos that I wish that I had taken more of. Not something that's outside of myself, but something so close to me. I always had my camera up, but I feel like going back and trying to find those images has been so hard. That's what I wish that I could do. But they're in my head, photos become memories. And so they're still with me. They're still with me. And so if I could promote anything, it would be that everybody needs to go to the Ely Center today at 12 o'clock. We are having an artist talk that starts at 12:30 with the Wabi Arts Focus Fellowship Team Photography program that I teach. those young people are going to be there today expressing how they feel about photography, what the experience of being in the program has allowed them to do, become, and be. And the Ely is also having a great opening for themselves. They have given me the platform to teach my program there. And they are an institution that has been there for about 10 years. The building has been there. The Ely Center itself has been there for quite a few years with the Paint and Clay Club. But the Ely Center has allowed me to come in and teach from that space and hang our artwork in that space and giving me the platform for Wabi to do what it does. And so I'm very grateful to them. But you need to come out there, 51 Trumbull Street, New Haven, right off of 95, exit 3, and 91. Is that 91, exit 3?
Yes. Like 91, yeah.
91, exit 3. And just come and explore, have a good time, have some spirits and water and a little bit of little snacks. But come and talk to those young people and hear what they have to say.
And just for people to know, please support Kim. And this interview is pre-recorded, so this will come out tomorrow, aka Monday.
Right.
I don't want people just like to rush to the building and you're not there. Like I don't want when they hear it.
Right. That's right. And so they can come out. And we have been extended. They extended the show because it was such a hit. They extended it to July 6th. And so come through. I will be there in and out, but the building will be open. If you have to call, please call me or text me. You can find me on Instagram, wabi.arts on Instagram. Or just call the Ely Center or just stop by. Just stop by. Don't worry about calling. Just stop by. And we'll be there. We will be in the house. But I also want to say, if you have it and have the means, please donate to Wabi. The funds go to teaching young people how to express themselves through photography and also to help build out Wabi. And so I want a big push to say, I have put in probably in the 4 years that I have purchased the space, I have gotten into a place where now we just need lights, we need a bathroom, we need like those things. And so if you have it, please donate and it will not be unused. We can definitely use it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
Preston. Thank you, Easy.
Absolutely.
But hold on one second, because here's the key part. How can somebody right now invest?
We gotta make that answer real quick because like time is getting short. Very sorry about that. We just gotta
www.wabi.gallery.
There you go.
Kim, you're amazing. Thank you. Myself, Preston, and my partner in crime, Long Island Rays, Elm City Made, Mr. EZ BlueZ, WNHHLP 103.5 FM, New Haven.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.